I don't never get it plain if they don't have peach. Well, I don't want it, but
Right,
it's good. I love the peach.
Oh, yeah, it's a great idea.
nothing formal. I mean, another time. Call this meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Jill Wendling,
Yes.
Jane Willenberg, yes. Chad Thompson,
Yes.
Jessica Ware,
Yes.
Steve Bone,
Yes.
Robin Klosterman,
Yes.
Brad Waldorf.
Yes.
We have a big crowd tonight. Do we have any visitors that would like to address the board? All right, seeing none, then we will go on and welcome the EHS physics class. They are going to make a presentation for us on a cradle pendulum. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting us. We really appreciate the opportunity to come before the board and present some of the project that we have been working on. I'm Mrs. Alt, I'm not Mrs. Adult. Darn autocorrect always changes it, so we already knew that was an issue. But we have a majority of our students with us. 3 are not, 1 is working, and that's Logan Heil. 2 of them are at a softball game, and that's Abby and Riley Cunningham. So they were gonna try to join us if time permitted, but by the sound of the radio, I think we're gonna be without them. So I will turn it over to our project manager, Charlie Ring.
My name is Charlie Ring. I'm a junior at Effingham High School. I am the project manager of the Newton's Cradle project that you probably all saw outside when you were walking in. We got this idea, well, the idea was presented to us and we jumped on it immediately because we had just completed a design competition in Marshall that we all got to build either a mousetrap car, a slingshot, or an airplane that would fly off of it was rubber band propelled. And we all just loved the building process of this, and she gave us this opportunity to build a big project as a small class, and we absolutely took that up. And it was a lot longer process than most people would think, because we started the actual thinking of how this would come together in October, and we we had to connect a lot of dots, and we broke it into 5 teams: our engineering, design, bowling ball specialist, business specialist, and park specialist. So there's two in every group. And the reason we did a Newton's cradle was because it falls under Newton's third law, which is law of conservation of momentum, which is for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, which you'll see as one bowling ball hits all 4, another bowling ball will come out mostly to the equal distance. It's not a perfect enclosed system. But how we got this all started, I will hand that out to Kushi Patel in the design department.
My name is Kushi Patel, and I was part of the design team. The design process was quite simple. My main concern was to ensure that the base was stable, so that when the Newton's cradle was used, it wouldn't tip over. So I decided to go with a rectangular base and added 4 supports on each corner to add increased stability. And then the hooks on the Newton's cradle had to be of equal diameter to the bowling balls. So I designed that, and Logan and I was also part of the design team. Finalized the design and handed it over to engineer.
My name is Aaron Bartels. I was one of the members of the engineering department, and I mainly did some of the measurements and stuff. At first, we started with it at 10 feet tall. I don't know why we did that. We quickly moved away from that. So it's 5 foot tall, and basically, I also found the angles. There's angled supports on it, and that took us about 2 days of confusion because just didn't see the open picture. And then with some help from Aaron, we were able to figure out the angles. And I also found the circumference of the bowling balls to be like 8.63. And that's important because if there's space between the balls, that puts room for loss of energy, and that therefore will cause the bowling balls not to react the way we want, to where it's an equal and opposite reaction. So it was
My name is Aaron Price, and I was the other member of the engineering team. Along with he showed me the math he did. I made sure it was correct, and I also helped make sure that the lengths of the wires going to the middle were right, and I was in charge of also uncrimping those if they were not exact. Because if it's not exact, it will throw off the whole momentum conservation, and we will not have it swing back and forth like that.
My name's Joe Spoiler. I was part of our business department. We contacted 2 businesses. We contacted Newton Bowling Alley and Silver Dollar City here in town, which is just down the road. We attempted to get bowling balls, just some free bowling balls from there, some spare ones they had, but we were unable to find any from there. And we received a donation from Mattoon Bowling Alley, and they gave us, I believe it was 6 or 7 12-pound bowling balls that we used. And I think I'll turn that over to my other business department.
I'm Emma Roadwater. I was actually part of the business department. And like he said, Madison Bowl was nice enough to donate 6 exactly 12-pound balls, all the same, and then 2 balls for us to experiment with. And so we were tasked with just, contacting them and gathering them, and we handed them over. We helped to hand them over to the bowling ball specialists, who were kind of the main deal.
So I'm Chloe Blackwell, and I'm one of the bowling ball specialists. We had basically everything to do with the bowling balls. So one of our first priorities was finding out what the inside of the bowling ball was like, because that would affect how we would drill into it and attach it to the cradle. And so we had our fun. We were fortunate to have extra bowling balls that were cracked, and so we took them outside and we busted them open, figured out that it was solid, because we were told originally that it was a gel, so we were just going to be like kind of slimy, but yeah, so it was solid. And then the next thing we had to do was find out about the center of mass.
I'm Audrey Wagner, and I was also part of the bowling ball specialist. So like she said, we were trying to figure out how to find the center of mass, and we did a number of research on it, and we found out that the majority of bowling balls have a symbol on them, and that indicates where the center of mass is. Ours unfortunately did not, and so we went back to researching and found that there's a darker circle on some bowling balls, and that's it.
Oh, yeah, we're good.
I did, and so the next step was to figure out how to hang the bowling balls onto the frame, and we figured we'd use eye bolts, and we would drill into that. We had help with that. Jonah supplied the drill bit, and he also drilled the holes into it, and then we had help with screwing them in later.
So I will speak on behalf of the Cunninghams because they are not here. They were both part of our parts specialists, so they controlled how much and what everything we needed. Fortunately, we had a donor for the wood, Alec Ring, and so it was a convenient drop off, so we didn't have to worry about purchasing any more wood besides the 2x4 angle supports you see out there. And they had to calculate. They used the calculations to get a proper list so we could send to our wood shop department. Also, big thanks to them for actually cutting the wood. They had to get everything in order to know exactly how many of everything we needed. And they also had to make sure we had enough screws and drill bits and tools for everything that we needed. And they were also in charge of making sure we didn't lose any of those parts.
So just to wrap it up, we would like to give a big thanks to all of our administrative staff. Mr. Roberts allowed us to not work in our classroom. This was a big enough project, we needed an alternative space, and he came up with that for us. Mr. Pullen came by, I was struggling to get a screw in, and he's like, is it really that hard? I'm like, I can't get it in. He comes over and he goes, but it was really nice. We did build in the hallway. We had a lot of students stop by, a lot of staff stop by. What are you doing? How's it coming? What are you making? And we just kind of held them on. Just keep looking, keep watching. You know, you'll get to see. And so when we did end up, the kids all took a turn on a half day to cover the cradle, and then students were allowed to, as they had time throughout the day, to come down, and our students explained to them what they were doing, let them use the cradle, and it turned out to be, I think, a pretty wide school application, not just our class. So thank you so much again for inviting us, and if you have any questions for them, they're more than willing to answer questions for you.
Where do you plan on displaying this?
I will leave that up to our business department.
So let me jump in with a little bit of an update you might not know about right now. We actually had Dave Gateman stop by this afternoon or at lunch to meet with Mrs. Alt about possibly putting it at the bank. I reached out to them first just because I thought maybe they had the room for this monster to sit. I think they do, but they're a little concerned about the bowling balls and little kids coming into the bank. So they are going to pass on this opportunity. However, they have committed to helping us. One of the thoughts that we had when we spoke, when I was over with them for a little bit, was to possibly do some sort of financial campaign to help fund more physics projects such as this, above and beyond what the normal budget would allow. And Washington Savings Bank is interested in that in moving forward. So it won't be placed at Washington Savings Bank tomorrow, which I was hoping that it would, because I thought it'd be a great traffic area. But I do think I will work with you guys and gals on somewhere to put it if you need help. I can step back out of it because I got that part going and you pick it up from there. But I think it's something that ought to be presented in businesses in town if indeed we could find people that would be willing to put it in there, because I would like to see our kids much more involved in those businesses and some of the things that are going on. This is an extremely, extremely great project that really impressed me. First time I saw it was sitting on the couch at home, and it was on Facebook. And I glanced over and came back to it, and I went, I wonder who came in and did a demonstration for us with that. And then when I showed up in the school, they're like, stop by, hey, come here. And I'm like, wait a minute, that was you that built this. So again, it felt very good from my standpoint on what they did. So I'm proud of you. I appreciate what you've done. And I do think that many of you probably have some questions for them, so feel free.
How many hours? I know it's an estimate, but I'm just curious.
It's hard to give an estimate because we kind of worked on it on and off since October.
Right.
So October was kind of like, okay, here's an idea. And then we came back like 2 weeks later, like, okay, what have you thought of? Like, how are we actually going to do this? And then we would throw out ideas, and then she'd be like, oh, but did you think about it? We'd all go, no. And it was kind of that on and off process for about a month and a half. And then we actually started dividing into teams and specializing everything. So then it was more like, oh, this is a lot more manageable of a workload than everybody just hitting it all head on. And probably total, I would probably say probably 5 or 6 hours just of in-class time at least. That was total because our class hours are only 45 to 49 minutes. And then we spent a whole week building. Okay, that estimate was probably a little off. And then because it took 5, almost 6 school class periods of working on it. But that's not factoring in any of the time for calculations and prepping everything else and waiting on it.
Were you graded on it? And if so, what'd you get?
So the grade was more so on the class participation and everybody's ability to be in, because it's important even when there's 11. When you put 11 people around that thing, it's like, oh, it doesn't seem like there's a lot to do. So we kind of traded off and balanced everybody so everybody could work on it and feel a part of the project. And I'm pretty sure, as far as I know, everybody got an A.
So this doesn't have to be Charlie, this is any of you. So any kind of a project like this or a process, being able to utilize the feedback that you get from the results is pretty important here. So when you look back, like you said, Aaron, you said you started at 10 feet. I don't know why we did that. Are there other things that you guys look back on and say, we should have done this a little bit different, or we've gotten a little better results when we did this? So anybody got something they can share on that?
I think there were some like prototype designs that we looked over and we were pretty certain of them. I don't remember what it was. And someone pointed some stuff out that might be wrong with it. We moved away from that pretty quickly. Just other stuff like that.
Originally, we did not have bowling balls donated to us, so Miss Alt was scrapping to find any random bowling balls at any garage sale or auction. So at that point, they were all different sizes, and then we had to start thinking, before we had those bowling balls, we had to start thinking, how can we alter the weight of these to make them all exactly the same, but in that fact, not changing the center of mass, because that depends on how you put the hook in. So there was a lot of fear and worry in that, and then one day she was like, oh, I have a friend.
So they did learn that sometimes part of being a good part of a team is knowing who you know and making connections and being able to reach out. And that's something that I know CEO class talks about a lot, is making those connections. And I think they got to see some of that through the donation of wood, the donation of the bowling balls, the wood shop class being willing to cut stuff for us. It's not just us, it was a big team effort. If any of you would like to use it, I realize that the board members have things to sit at and you've got other things to address today, but we did set it up so that it is usable if anyone would like to try it.
So let's give them a round of applause. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say thank you. Very impressive. And thanks so much for coming and sharing your success with us. And Mrs. Alt, thank you too. You always do a really good job. So, all right. I guess we're ready to move on.
Next.
Next, we have Mrs. Radis from
Yes.
Student Services.
I don't know how I follow that up. I'm Tara Radis. I'm a counselor at Effingham High School, and Julie's here with me.
I'm Julie Klein, the district community specialist.
And we're here to present on Decision Day 23, and we'll give a little introduction on that before you start it. Decision Day typically takes place on May 1st. It's a national day where students a lot of times make their final college decisions. So we wanted to take a little bit of a different spin on that and honor our students for all the decisions that they're making, no matter whether it's college, trade school, work, or taking a gap year. And we thought it would be fun to put a video together that just kind of showcases all of the different plans that our students have. We visited all of the senior level English classes. We encouraged them to participate. We provided cookies and a fun environment in the library. We set up our backdrop. And we asked them to bring props that kind of helped depict what their plans were after high school. We had a bigger turnout maybe than we had anticipated, which was good. Some of the kids had fun with it, kind of grouped themselves together. From here forward, we're going to push this out on social media. We are also going to do a bulletin board with all of the students' pictures and their plans after high school so that our younger students can start thinking about and making plans for where they see themselves after high school and whatever path that might be, that we as a school definitely honor that in their decisions. So, and Julie put the video together, did all the tech work, the camera work. Heather Hartman helped us set up the backdrop. The cafeteria provided our cookies, and obviously our English teachers provided time for the students to be out of the classroom. So full collaboration on this video that we have to show you.
Good.
We're ready. Let's roll. So thanks for taking the time and letting us show that to you. We have bigger and better plans for next year, so. We'll have to show you another video.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Great job.
great.
Thank you very much, ladies.
All right.
I think
I'd like to interrupt the meeting, please.
Uh-oh.
I'd like to take this time to recognize Robin Klosterman. She has been our fearless leader for the last 2 years, probably, but board member for the last 4. We just want you to know how much we appreciate you, and we're gonna miss you. So there is a 2-year seat open. But this is just a piece of gratitude from all of us board members and Andy. Robin and her family have actually become good friends of mine, and we just wanted to say thank you.
Good.
And I wanted to do this at a public meeting instead of a special meeting where, you know,
Nobody's here.
nobody's here.
you guys come up here and take a picture with them if you don't mind. Guessing you don't mind being a photographer?
Should we get a picture with all of us?
All the board members,
Yes.
absolutely.
Oh, over here.
Yeah.
It's a bigger wall. I'm not gonna be a photographer. Tonight I am. Sure you do. Yeah, you get on the-
Right, I've got everyone right here. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's take a couple just to be sure. Andy, did you want in one?
Sure.
Oh, is that
If we can get out, we can get out of one too.
You stay. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Got it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
What's that?
We like it.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
She's a hospitality person.
What's that?
Jill's our hospitality person.
Oh, she is. I know she is. Well, thank you all. I really appreciate it, and I've really been honored to serve on the board. Uniformity means a ton to me, so thank you so much. All right. I'm not going to keep talking because then I might start weeping, so I'm just going to go on. All right, next we have the financial report.
Funded balances right now is at a decrease of 6.61%. And our fund balance from last year this time, net fund balance of $26,105,888.91. Our operating funds are down 8.31% over last year, net total of $22,597,496.42. Revenues, education fund for this last month from the local level received $572,404.75. At the state level, $597,017.61. At the federal level, $450,671.03. At this point right now, our interest account, we'd like to reimburse it $620.88. And then if you wouldn't mind approving the payment of bills tonight of $1,262,655.44. Any questions about the financial report? That's prepared for me from Mr. Woodruff.
Any questions or comments? All right, then I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the financial report to reimburse the interest account in the amount of $620.88 and the payment of bills in the amount of $1,262,655.44.
Motion.
Motion by Jill,
Second?
second by Brad. Roll call?
Jane, yes. Chad?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
All right, next we have the consent agenda. In the consent agenda, we have some minutes to approve a closed session and the technology report or technology committee meeting. Cafeteria report is enclosed. Fundraisers, we've got 3 requests. The EHS cheer football is asking to have a hog raffle ticket event to raise funds to cover the cost of warm-ups and cheer gear for camps, etc. May 1 to June 1 of 23. The EHS basketball chair is asking to pick a date to donate fundraiser to raise funds for clinics, warm-up jackets for the new team members, team jerseys, and meals, May 1 to June 1. And third, the EHS basketball chair will hold a dress sale, raise funds for clinics, warm-up jackets, jerseys, team meals, and choreography, August 11 and 12, 23. And that's it. Any comments or questions about any of the items on the consent agenda? All right, then I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Steve,
Second.
Chad by second, roll call.
Chad?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Jane, yes.
All right, for correspondence, we have a couple of thank you notes. We have a thank you note. During a time like this, we realize how much our friends mean to us. Your kind expression of sympathy will always be remembered. It is from the family of Glenn Lytle. To thank you for your kindness and sympathy at a time when it was deeply appreciated, from the Flowers family. Next, the superintendent's report.
Your foundation report, we don't have one for this month. Enrollment as enclosed as of 3/31/23. Total enrollment is 2,312 students. That's 6 less than the previous month. It was also last year this time was 2,175 students, so that is up 125, 130 from last year in March. FOIA, we did have one FOIA report. Data research partners seem to be interested in a lot of our data. I'm pretty sure that's statewide, it's not just us. I think I received another one from them today. So they're asking for, a lot of times it's retirees information and people people that work for us and things like that. So nothing really major per se. Next is the Society of Academic Achievement, SAA. The Noon and Sunrise Rotary Club sponsor the SAA Awards each year. A banquet is held for students and parents and Rotary Club members, so to publicly recognize the outstanding scholar athletes of students, scholastic efforts, not athletes, of students from both Effingham High School and St. Anthony High School. Awards consist of scholastic pins to qualifying seniors and scholastic letters to qualifying juniors and sophomores, or who represent the top 5% of the class. I'm proud to share the EHS was well represented with 20 sophomores, 8 juniors, and 13 seniors. In all, 41 EHS students were honored. I say we're actually doing that this week, but will be honored. We congratulate the students, parents, teachers, and all others who helped support these young people in their academic endeavors. So proud of our students in that area. If you're planning to attend that this Thursday night, I'll apologize ahead of time. They're really short on speakers, so I've been putting about a 30 to 40 minute presentation together. And I think, is that what you told me, Kurt? Okay. Hopefully I can find something worth hearing for that long. Next one's student iPad. Huh?
Shouldn't be a problem.
Never know. Student iPad and laptop manual has been updated for the 2023-24 school year. This document is rather large. It's not something that seeks board approval. We talked about it in the technology committee meeting. Didn't feel the need to bring that back for approval, but there have been updates made to that. I don't know if you want to share anything. That pretty well takes care of.
We appreciate all the time because it does take a lot of time to put that together.
Yes, it's a monster.
And to keep it updated.
Right. So a lot goes to it. Next one's Teams with Tools. Lakeland College and Unit 40 this summer will be teaming up, and there are flyers, if you didn't pick one up, back there off of the table. I don't know if that's, I didn't ask Charlie and Kelsey ahead of time. We had Lakeland come down last Friday afternoon to do kind of a demo for 8th grade students, correct? All students. Okay. I don't know if you saw, if we don't think we published it yet. Actually, I just got it from Lakeland this afternoon. They were here and videoed, and there will be a Lakeland, it's about a 45-second video that will be piped out. They're in the process right now. It's a 7-week program this summer, 6-week program. One of the weeks has a double session. You'll be there 9:30 to noon, 9 to 12. Really excited about this. We've been in a lot of conversations. This actually came out of a meeting that Kurt and I attended at Lakeland back a couple months ago when we were just simply up there trying to brainstorm ideas of trying to get students more interested in the trades of this area rather than maybe not do anything. So we're not trying to encourage people that want to go to college not to go to college, but those that aren't interested in going to college jump in this trade area. We feel like, and we talked about at that meeting, that, you know, by the time they get to be a junior and senior in high school, that's probably too late to be trying to expose them to the vocational side of things. So we're like, okay, let's see what we can do, and came up with this idea, and Lakeland's jumped on board. And we will foot part of that cost through our ESSER funds for this summer, and then we'll figure out, hopefully, if it all works out well in the future. But that'll be this summer at our junior high, back in the shop areas. I would basically, Lakeland will be bringing their machinery down. Things that they had in there were 3D printers. Somebody going to build a computer. I think they were talking about.
Yeah, it's just a lot of hands-on, pretty high-level stuff for junior high kids. So registration opened up Friday. We're probably, their goal is 15 kids at each camp. I don't want to say we're halfway there yet, but we're probably in the 35 to 40% after just Friday. Them coming down, doing demonstrations, talking to the kids. They brought 5 or 6 instructors with them. Each one, did their own little spiel to the kids. And we think we'll get 15 kids in each camp. And we've heard some kids say that they're going to sign up for all 7. So
this looks like it would actually be good for students that even weren't going to college, right? It just looks fun.
Right.
It's some pretty high level stuff. Yeah, some things that we can't offer at the junior high, for obvious reasons. But for 4 days, it's a big deal.
It's like a big summer STEM club type deal.
Mhm.
Sounds cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, if there's anything that hasn't been covered or that you need help with, let us know, because I'm sure, I know North American Lighting would help on this if there needed to be any support on that, so.
That's coming, yeah.
Thanks, Charlie.
There are a lot of opportunities for businesses to become involved with stuff like this.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
This is the first year, not been done anywhere, and it will be only eighth grade.
It's 6, 7, and 8.
It's 6, 7, 8,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
6, 7, 8 Effingham students,
Awesome.
with hopes, in our opinion, to expand next summer to even larger than this, so.
Yeah, their instructors will come down and host the camp. We're trying to get some of our teachers involved, but it's gonna be, our kids at these camps and just something a little bit different than the athletic camps that you normally see during the summer, so give those kids an opportunity to do. There's some, like I said, some high level stuff in there.
Thanks, Charlie. And then obviously the next one on the list is the STEAM, and this is a full steam ahead. This is Julie Healy, help me with the other.
Morgan.
Morgan.
Christy Price, Madison Healy, and Julie.
Okay, and that's 1st through 6th grade, and that will be offered, what we have on there.
End of July.
Okay. And again, we'll be partnering up with them for the expense of it. The original expense was $150. Shelley and I have talked, and we're going to collaboratively run it through some of our funds, such as title, and pay $120, so that each student will only need to pay $30 to be a part of that. We do think that they should have to have some skin in the game. So we're looking forward to that. I don't think that sign up started already, or do we? Okay. I don't know how that one's, you may not know, probably I haven't heard anything about it. So we're excited about that as well. So we're pretty well covering the gamut from 1st through 8th grade. And we'll see where it goes from there. But I think this is just the start of lots of those kind of things throughout the summer, because I'd like to keep our kids busy if at all possible. Any questions on those two? Nope. I also had on here right now, I think it'd be a good time to go ahead and introduce a couple of our newly elected board members that will be seated once we discuss when the special board meeting will be. And I think it would be good to do it with them present here to help try to decide what night works best for everybody involved. So Andrew Altman to my right and Mr. Scott Wolfe to the left. And we do have Jill was reelected and Jane was reelected, correct? And then we still have a two-year seat that will be discussed later with the board to make a decision on how to move forward with that. Based on my preliminary discussions with them, we would be looking to put an advertisement out tomorrow morning in an attempt to receive back any applications. And then possibly whenever we set this board meeting, we would be looking to interview all or at least some of those candidates for the potential seat to be reseated. Am I correct on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll let all of you decide. I threw out May 1st, but I think we've got some people that have some obligations that might not work. So the next one out was May 3rd. Does May 3rd work? And I will say originally I was looking for May 1st because we thought we were going to have an expulsion within that amount of time frame. Fortunately, that did not come to fruition, so we are not under a huge time frame there.
Did the county indicate when they would have the canvas back?
They don't have a choice but to have it to us tomorrow. Well, let me rephrase that. Here's the deal. It's not our county. In fact, I talked to John Carroll this morning from Louisville, and they went ahead and ratified everything last week and seated the new board members because they have our county's information. So our county at Effingham has been completed, but we're waiting for 2 outside counties that we actually creep into a little bit for our school district. I think Scott and I were joking about it this afternoon. I don't even think we have anybody attending our school from those counties. But anyway, that doesn't matter until the county here has all of those back in. And just so you know, we were down to the wire Friday night, hoping that we could leave everything I had already drawn up for tonight with the seating of the new board and all that stuff. And so we didn't put our agenda out till Saturday because I had to come back in Saturday morning and revamp that entire agenda because 2 counties outside of Effingham don't have them. But by law, whatever that means, they have to have them ratified by tomorrow night, close of business tomorrow night. I've had some people tell me, not sure what happens if they don't, but I would like to hope they've got it sometime this week and we can have this next week. So
you're looking at May 3rd?
yes. And I
Is
would
that an
suggest
issue for-
5:30.
May 3rd's all right.
It works
Andrew,
for
and
me.
May 3rd.
Good.
I'm good.
5:30 good? Does that still give you plenty? Okay.
Okay, so 5:30 on May 3rd. See the new board member.
And that's it for me.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to new business. The first item is the membership renewal for the IESA. Kelsey submitted some information about that. We have to renew our membership every year. The fees are $1,435. And she says we are requesting entering the same activities that we participated in during this year. Okay. Any questions or comments on that? All right, then I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the district's annual membership in the IESA for 23-24.
Motion?
Motion by Brad,
I'll second it.
second by Jane. Roll call.
Desha,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad.
Yes.
All right, next we have the catastrophic and voluntary student accident insurance renewal. We got information from Mr. Woodruff on that. The premium cost is the same as it was in FY23, which is $1,390. Any questions or comments on that? All right, if not, I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the renewal of catastrophic and voluntary student accident insurance from First Agency, AIG, and Guarantee Trust, GTI, at a cost of $1,390 for FY24.
Motion.
Motion by Jill,
Second.
second by Chad. Roll call.
Steve,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad.
Yes.
Desha.
Yes.
All right, the next item is for approval of the network emergency pay. And we had many people put in many extra hours as we faced the problems that we had with our network. And they performed above and beyond the call of normal operations during that emergency, putting in a lot of time, many of them, some of them all night even. We are considering giving them some extra pay for those extra hours that they put in. Anybody have any comments or questions on that?
Just to thank you again.
Yes.
For all the
Right.
commitment and efforts on that.
Exactly, yes. We certainly appreciate the hard work that they put in and the many, many hours that were contributed to getting us where we are now. So I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the network emergency pay for exempt staff that performed above and beyond the call of normal operations during the network emergency. The total amount for the network emergency pay is $16,282.77.
Motion.
Motion by Chad,
Second.
second by Jill. Roll call.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad.
Yes.
Desha,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Yep, Robin, on that topic, one question, Andy, is how are we coming along on the cyber insurance application? I know that's a lengthy process. I've had to go through, I'm sure Brad has too.
Right.
How are we coming along on that?
I don't 100% know. I know it's in the works. We've had some conversations with Weiss Insurance, of course, because that's our property and casualty. So we're working through some of that. And we've also researched, we haven't researched. We met with them. We were going to research some other people, but he's going to go to bat for us and see what he can do.
Yeah, the application's
It's a monster.
Yeah.
I think that I would hope that's in play very soon.
All right. The next item is the approval of the library project upgrades. Mrs. Flack provided us with information about the buildings in detail. Basically, I saw her here earlier. Is she saying anything about this?
I
Or
think she left. Yeah,
Okay.
she's gone.
All right, so basically, what we're looking at, and had you talked about this at a previous meeting?
Well, I think we have.
Okay,
I've been
so
on your
really
internet.
briefly, I'll mention junior high, basically was updated 3 years ago, and so we basically are not doing anything there. The high school has requested new flooring, paint, furniture, not to exceed the amount of $150,000. The library has original flooring and furniture from 1998, which to me seems really new, but it's now really getting old, so. Anyway, the project is estimated to be completed in the summer of '23. Southside would like to request new furniture, additional age-appropriate shelving, and new space-saving circulation desk not to exceed the amount of $50,000 to be completed in the summer of '23. Central Grade School would like to request a complete redesign and remodel of the library technology space to include the library, computer classrooms, and a maker space. The estimated cost of this project is still to be determined by the district architect and will be scheduled to be completed in the summer of '24. And those are the items that we are voting on this evening. Anybody have any comments or questions on those?
When do we think the central school, when was the last time it was updated? Do we have any idea?
I think that's original.
Original.
Some of the shelving sure appears that way.
Actually, all of the libraries are original except the junior high and the high school, probably.
1978.
Yeah.
So explain.
And Southside, go to Southside, same thing. I mean, yeah, they all look like they are still original construction pretty
So
much.
Todd, explain a little bit of maybe, if you don't mind, just a little overview. This one's going to be significantly more expensive than the others because we have an opportunity to really, really hone in on utilizing the space up there for multiple reasons, which is already happening, but it's a wide open area right now. So there's a little bit of noise. So I don't know if you want to fill in on some of what we're thinking about.
So we have libraries kind of a central location in that area. The other side is our tech lab, divided by shelves. So over the top, there's a lot of noise that passes back and forth. To the north side of the library is some Title I areas, again, divided by shelving. So the ability to focus and things like that can be distractible if you're in there. So the idea is we want to maintain our computer lab where it is. The thought process was if we could utilize the two entryways into the library, one could be utilized to go into the computer lab, build a wall as long as HVAC and everything works there, and then have maybe some glass top to that wall so we can have next door a STEM lab that's accessible from the computer lab. Then the rest of the library to the north would be the library. We would eliminate those Title I rooms and relocate them to another room. We can partition those rooms off for just those services for those kids. And then new shelving, soft seating, different things like that. So we actually talked about the STEM area having a retractable wall. Don't know how that's going to look or if it's even feasible, but that way we could utilize that area for larger staff meetings or things like that if we needed to use the library capacity. So we're still talking about some designs that we've kind of kicked around. Aaron and I looked at a few of them. We talked with Andy and Julie about some of those. So trying to decide the direction we're going to go on that.
That's great.
But we're talking about adding some walls, moving some fire panels. It's liable to be $500,000 to $1 million job. So one of the reasons we're putting it off is first and foremost, we're not ready at this point right now for it to happen this summer. Secondly, expense-wise, we need to take a look at some things in the coming year to make sure where we are. The other projects will be funded through the ESSER, which runs out in September of 2024. So we've already had some allocated there, and there will be more added to the library expense in order to do, especially at the high school, where we're talking about roughly between it and the south side, roughly $200,000 we can pull that all out of ESSER. And we had 88,000 budgeted, but now because the PFA that we brought on has saved us an extensive amount of money out of ESSER, so we're gonna be able to pull that out, pay that out of the preschool for all first shot that we received back in February. So that frees up some money in ESSER to be able to put more of that toward that expense for the libraries. So that's kind of why, as much as we would love to hit all of them this summer and have our libraries done, I think we need to do a lot more research on that one to make sure we completely get it right. So thank you, Todd, for sharing that.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, and for those of you that will be on the next board, I'll remind you that when we had the sports backers here talking to us about the new scoreboard, that we had a commitment from several of them that they would be happy to help raise money and contribute money for our library projects. So I'll remind you of that.
That will be approached.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion in a second to approve the proposed library upgrades to Southside to not exceed $50,000 and Effingham High School to not exceed $120,000. They will be paid through ESSER 3, which needs to be spent by September 2024.
Robin, you said 150 over.
I'm sorry.
120 or 150? It says 120 in the motion, but you said 150.
It got
I'm
changed
sorry.
from Julie, and we can go 150 if that's better for you
I wasn't
guys.
sure. She said 150. I just want to make sure it's right.
Right.
Oh, sorry. I
The
just read
proposal
it
said
as it was.
150. Go ahead and go 150. That's fine. It's not to exceed anyway, so we're going to try to keep it down around 110 anyway.
Okay, so the motion should say Effingham High School to not exceed $150,000.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Jill. Roll call?
Robin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jean, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Desha,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
All right, next we have approval of memorandum of understanding for hard to fill position. We have someone going to become certified as an LBS 1. Any questions or comments on that? All right, then I will entertain a motion in a second to approve the MOA with Katie Hagan, Unit 40, and the Effingham Classroom Teacher Association for the hard to fill position, which is an LBS 1 special education position.
Motion.
Motion by Jill,
Second.
second by Chad. Roll call?
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Desha,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Robin.
Yes. All right, now the approval of the ELC parking lot. We had a bid from Effingham Asphalt. And we actually had received 2 bids. One was for concrete and one was for asphalt. The concrete bid was for $267,000, $267,314, excuse me, and asphalt was $235,830. Mr. Johnson has recommended the asphalt, so I don't know if we want to
So
have.
we were leaning concrete and now you're leaning asphalt,
That's correct.
okay, just because the numbers are something else.
Multiple things. Numbers would be the biggest. Right now, I think we should try to save money in that area.
Would we?
We're also not driving buses over it. Originally, when we were talking about potentially taking out of the transportation fund, we were kicking around rerouting buses, running it through there. And I don't think that's in our best interest. That doesn't help the efficiency of that facility. Agreed?
I was just going to say, over long-term, would we be saving money? Long-term,
With concrete?
because there's care that has to be done.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to
Asphalt.
reseal it, and
Yeah, that's what I was
reseal
gonna
at the
say.
last meeting was about 15,000. So you're gonna reseal it twice. So, how many years out you're gonna go to reseal? But I mentioned that multiple times, and
Right.
it seemed to be pretty popular that we should go with asphalt when I discussed that, so I thought I'd go ahead and throw my recommendation right back at asphalt.
How often does it have to be resealed?
You know what? I don't know that for sure. I don't have Todd here. I would,
I mean, it'll last at least
We
5
just-
years, right?
we just had, what did we just have resealed? Central or this summer? No? We just voted at the last meeting on something to be resealed. Yeah, I don't know 100%. Sorry,
That's okay.
I'm not gonna,
I mean,
I'm gonna say something if I don't know for
it's not
sure.
every year,
Right,
right?
no.
I mean,
Right.
surely it lasts
5 years.
So we can
I
get
talked
10
to the
years.
asphalt gentleman, Mr. Cabas, and he suggested asphalt.
Because they do asphalt.
Well, honestly, he's the only bidder on the project.
But so.
And he's bidding bulk?
Technically, he
Do they-
did,
oh, they-
because he's gonna go out and have somebody else do the concrete for him.
Got it.
Another reason that I would suggest we go with asphalt.
Any other comments or questions or? All right, so we need someone to make a motion, either for concrete or asphalt.
I'll make a motion for the asphalt.
All right, so I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the ELC parking lot bid with Effingham Asphalt for $235,830.
Second.
Motion by Chad.
Yeah.
Second?
She said second.
Okay, Desha, second, sorry. Roll call.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Tisha,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
All right, we are now ready to enter closed session. So I will entertain a motion and a second to enter into closed session for student discipline, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the district, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired, collective negotiating matters between the district and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees, and litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular district has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the district finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the closed meeting minutes.
Motion.
Motion by Jill,
Second.
second by Steve. Roll call.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Tisha, yes, Steve,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill.
Yes.
I'd like to thank my administrators for being here tonight. I would ask that in this order, Kelsey, you will come in first. Jenny, you guys will trade the baton when she comes out, and then Jennifer Fox in after Jenny Seacrest, if you don't mind. After that, you three are free to go home too. The rest of you, administratively, see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.